What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including AEW wrestlers exposed to an infected person with coronavirus, more hints at the WWE hacker's identity, SummerSlam plans kept a secret, a top superstar was supposed to break the Undertaker's streak, but turned it down, Becky breaks a new record, and a fired superstar was set to become Intercontinental Champion. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But hit the intro because it's now time for the news. Now our first story looks at AEW wrestlers exposed to an infected person with coronavirus. With professional wrestlers and MMA fighters continuing to work through the ongoing pandemic, there is justified concern that someone would become infected and, even worse, infect others around them. Ringside News is reporting on a potentially scary situation, saying Ronaldo Souza and two of his cornermen tested positive for the novel coronavirus ahead of UFC 249. Dave Meltzer discussed this situation in depth during the Wrestling Observer Radio. Jagger lives in Orlando, so he drove to Jacksonville with his cornermen in the same car. Where this becomes problematic is that All Elite Wrestling is using the same Jacksonville Hyatt Regency hotel for their talent. It was noted that a lot of AEW talent, not all, are staying in the hotel because it is supposed they stayed for the UFC event. Now, to be blunt, anyone traveling is constantly at risk of exposure, but this situation shows the potential for infection to spread, possibly even shutting down a whole promotion completely until everyone has been quarantined and tested. Now, keep in mind that people can become reinfected, which means wrestling promotions or MMA promotions could shut down for weeks or even months, depending on public officials' reaction to an outbreak. Next up, more hints at the WWE hacker's identity. The Smackdown hacker appeared again on 8th May, and once again, fans are speculating as to who the mystery man or woman's identity is. A number of stories have gone around concerning who it might be, with WrestlingNews.co's Paul Davis discussing one of the latest. The latest video shows what appears to be a voicemail given to the hacker, and in the slowed down audio, the person on the voicemail sounds like a woman's voice. Some fans say they can hear Ronda Rousey's voice, while others say it's Mickie James. However, most fans on Twitter seem to think that the voice is of former WWE superstar Maurice.
I'll tell you one thing, payback is coming, and it's coming real soon.
Once again, a Twitter user claims to have slowed down the voice, coming up with the female identity. Whether this latest piece of evidence is a real clue or something meant to throw fans off the trail, it's a reminder of how much fun fans are having with the angle. Next up, WWE keeping SummerSlam plans a secret? As we reported earlier, this year's SummerSlam, scheduled for 23rd August in Boston, is in jeopardy as Boston Mayor has declared the city will not allow any large public gatherings until after Labor Day. So what will the WWE do, and what has it told its WWE superstars? According to Ringside News, information has not trickled down within the company at all about SummerSlam. Those plans are still currently within the conversations of top brass in the company. It was told to us that something Vince and his executive office team will keep quiet except to those who need to know. People like Paul Heyman and Bruce Pritchard are likely in the loop, but this kind of information won't be discussed openly until they are 100% certain about plans. The last person any promoter wants to share delicate information with is with a wrestler, giving wrestlers notoriety for spilling secrets, whether that be unintentionally or intentionally. Next up, potential performance center audience ideas. Only a fool would deny the WWE's ratings have plummeted since being forced to air empty arena shows at the WWE Performance Center, but what can the promotion do? Apparently the WWE has been thinking things over and come up with some ideas. A recent survey sent to the WWE Fan Council suggests some ideas that have been talked about, including superstars in the arena as fans, matches that occur outside the arena, championship defenses, use of off-site scene/matches, inclusion of celebrities, inclusion of more movie-like scenes and action sequences, fan crowd reactions during matches, having superstars as part of match commentary, supernatural fantastic touches during the show, use of pyrotechnics, outrageous moments during matches, matches with stipulations, comical/funny moments between superstars, and matches with unique camera angles/staging. They've already incorporated some of these ideas as seen by guest commentary by superstars such as Asuka and Nikki Cross, and the use of cinematic matches at WrestleMania and the upcoming Money in the Bank ladder matches being held at WWE headquarters. One idea that hasn't come up is the use of an audience, something AEW has incorporated by putting wrestlers at ringside for their television. Still, we'd love to see some use of comedy during these cinematic matches. If it were up to us, we hope that some point during tonight that superstars might end up in Vince McMahon's office and Vince is just eating his dinner there. He stops, looks at the superstars who have also stopped fighting, and then just says, "Carry on." I think it would be hilarious. Next up, Jeff Hardy talks idea for cinematic match with The Fiend. WrestleMania's 2 cinematic matches still have fans and wrestlers alike buzzing with various ideas being thrown out as to what could be next. One person very familiar with cinematic matches is Jeff Hardy, who helped develop the concept alongside Brother Matt during their TNA run. Appearing on Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast, Brother Nero shared his ideas for a cinematic match with The Fiend. "I just want to have one more good run and maybe become the World Champion or Universal Champion. I would love to do something with The Fiend Bray Wyatt. I've got some crazy cool ideas. Beth helped me with this one. What if there was something like the Twilight Zone, because back when we did the Hardy show, we had this thing called the Twilight Zone. Sort of a spoof of Twilight Zone. What if he beat me and put me under the ring and all of a sudden I'm in the funhouse, but I'm in a black and white television, then all of a sudden like the Twilight Zone." Then Beth was like, "What, it was the Flylight Zone. We can do it like you're trying to get out of a black and white television." I'm just crazy about crazy creativity like that, just throwing out a pitch and seeing if it sticks. And this kind of sounds incredible. Would you guys like to see this happen? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Edge was supposed to break The Undertaker's streak. And The Undertaker's real-life wife Michelle McCool recently spoke with the New York Post and spoke on how Edge turned down the opportunity to beat The Undertaker's streak. However, Edge immediately shot it down. She mentioned, "I remember a few years prior at WrestleMania 24 versus Edge, they talked about Edge breaking the streak, and it was Edge that was actually like, that makes zero sense. I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? The fans already love him. What's it gonna do for Edge?" That's pretty awesome, as Edge just wasn't thinking about getting himself over. He knew how important the streak actually was. And by the way, we might see a much more different Edge, as he seems to have shaved off his beard. Seriously, he looks like he's just stepped out of 2002. Next up, was Christian going to play a role in the Edge vs Orton feud? With Edge's WWE contract stating he only has to wrestle 5 matches, the WWE is limited in how they can play out a storyline involving him. Thus, when Edge began a feud with Randy Orton, there were rumors that Edge's longtime friend Christian might work a match or 2 against the Viper, or even just a segment in the ring, allowing the storyline to play out until the big money Edge vs Orton showdown at WrestleMania. However, Christian cleared up these rumors during a chat with TalkSport's Alex McCarthy. No, I just think with the way it played out, and obviously me being on a non-contact list, that kind of makes that, you can't really do that. No word on where the WWE intends to take Orton vs Edge next, but based on a preview for the 11th May Raw, they'll be looking to squeeze more life out of the feud. Next up, 2 matches added to Money in the Bank. The WWE has added 2 matches to Sunday's Money in the Bank event, which comes as a little surprise since the show only had 6 matches listed. However, the matches may surprise you, and they include R-Truth battling MVP and Jeff Hardy taking on Cesaro. Hardy vs Cesaro is scheduled for the pre-show, which is even odder as it would seem more appropriate for the main show. How MVP, a wrestler who has been used largely for hosting his talk segment The VIP Lounge, is getting on the actual event, has us wondering how the active roster feels about him getting a spot. Next up, Becky breaks a new record. Many congratulations to Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch for becoming the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion in the title's history. Lynch surpassed Alexa Bliss for the most total days as the Red Brand's champion, as her reign continues into its 397th day. The man captured the title at WrestleMania 35 last year, defeating Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in the first ever women's main event at the Show of Shows. Unlike Bliss, Lynch's record was 1 title reign rather than Little Miss Bliss's combined 3 reigns. That's pretty damn impressive. And finally, a fired superstar was set to become Intercontinental Champion. As always, the WWE could have plans in place to put the belt on somebody, but at the last minute nixed them. This is apparently the case with Lio Rush, a superstar who was amongst the many victims in the Black Wednesday firings. Lio told Fightful.com, Lio Rush claimed that at one point during his run with Bobby Lashley, he was set to become Intercontinental Champion. The switch was planned during the Finn Balor feud, but he couldn't remember why it didn't pan out. Now it doesn't sound totally insane since it was rumored that Vince was firmly behind Leo's push as Lashley's hype man, and it's possible backstage politics killed his push. Rush did have a lot of heat on him at the time. But there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. A massive thank you to 3 more channel members, that being Alan Gentleman, Aaron Marshall, and Paul Moran. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.